Good morning, and this is Destiny. I am back to bring you the series on the video that I previewed yesterday. And I hope this will be an eye-opening and a very interesting study. It's going to be a series. And today I'm going to get into series 1. This is part 1 of this video that is called I Believe Death is an Illusion. Now yesterday, as I said, I did a preview of what this really was going to be talking about. This video was going to be talking about. And it was based on my experiences, it's based on my revelation, the knowledge that my gut intuition has revealed to me over the past year. I came into this understanding and revelation knowledge, and for you to understand where I'm going to start off at today, then you need to go back, find that video, preview, I Believe Death is an Illusion, and you will get all the introduction, 18 minutes long, and you'll get more understanding knowledge because I share with you all my testimony, my story, which brought me to this conclusion, to believe what this was really saying. So today is part 1, and I have my computer. And I'm gonna be reading from my notes because I don't want to miss all the information that was given to me, okay? So when you see me looking down, that means I'm looking at my notes. And here we go. You ready? Good morning again. Namaste to everyone out there. This is Destiny. I am bringing to you the part 1 of the series. I believe death is an illusion. And as I stated before, to get caught up to where I am right now, please go back and review the video preview that I did yesterday, and then you will get a fuller understanding of what I am going to start at today. So let's get started. And the topic again, I believe death is an illusion. Evidence suggests death isn't the end. Life is an adventure that transcends our ordinary linear way of thinking. And I truly believe that. It took me years to come to that agreement because they had me so frightened and afraid from a very little child. And that fear carried on all the way in my entire adult life up to a year ago. I feared death. I was so afraid. I would go to sleep. I was trying to go to sleep and I'm afraid to sleep because I was afraid when I was feeling bad or sick or didn't feel great in my body that I was going to die in my sleep. And I will. I mean, that was my belief. I'm not getting off on that. But I ran across this amazing quote by Albert Einstein. And he wrote this quote to his dear old friend called Bessel. And let me read what he said, okay? Einstein said to his old friend, "Now Bessel has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me. That means nothing. People like us know that this distinction between the past, the present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." I totally agree with that because that resonated with me. That quote resonated with me within my experiences that I have been going through over this past year. And I came to that very same conclusion, that death is an illusion. And when I say that death is an illusion, I'm not saying anything bad about anything about death. Because people had beliefs, and people still probably do believe that once you die, your life is over. But I've come to a different conclusion with my gut intuition, with my higher consciousness that has revealed and shown to me through my studies and my research, through what my God consciousness has been talking to me and sharing and showing me through the experiences that I had to experience to arrive to this revelation knowledge, I believe that we don't die. I believe that we resist forever. And when people used to talk about, when I was in Christianity, I was in the church, and the people talked about rebirth, reincarnation, being reborn, and it's all in the Bible, especially, like I said, in the New Testament. There was a lot of teaching in the Bible about rebirth, being reborn, reincarnation, and that used to scare the hell out of people. And I know it frightened me because I've never thought about coming back, because we always fear ghosts. That we come back, we will be a ghost, and we will be an evil, wicked being. And a lot of times, like I said, when church taught this, they taught that on that type of level. And I'm not going to get too deep into that. But now being fully awakened to my consciousness being, my higher state of being, and allowing the creator of the universe, my divine source, or I can call him my God, which he is my higher power, my higher source, has revealed totally a different meaning to reincarnation, rebirth, and being born again. And I believe now the Bible, like I said, it always was pointing us to our higher conscious state of being. Even though, like I said, in our Christian faith or whatever religion faith that you may have come out of, it was taught in a different way, in a different manner. And that was how I perceived it as a horrible experience, and it made me afraid, because when people talk about death, it's like it was over with. But it's not. I truly believe it is not. This is my opinion, okay? So just my opinion. But anyway, that quote resonated with me that Albert Einstein said about his old friend Bezos. So, as I have been doing a lot of studying and a lot of research and a lot of spending time out into nature, allowing nature to direct me and to allowing nature to open up my understanding about the universal laws and the things that the universe wants us to really understand about our nature as we being connected and tied to our divine source and power. And as the earth does not die, neither do we. As the earth does not lay down and wither up, so neither shall we. The earth lives on, it goes on, and that's what we were created, because we are connected to the divine earth, divine source and divine power. So, but there has been new evidence, and it continues to suggest that the quote that Einstein had made was right, that death is an illusion. And I say that we were born into this world and we were taught to fear death. I know I was. They scared the hell out of me. When they talked about it, I didn't want to hear it. When I saw people at funerals, I would just almost fall out. I was just weak from my head to my toes. I couldn't even stand in the presence to look at a dead body, because I knew that was going to happen to me, and I'm going away one day, and I'm never going to return. I'm never going to come back. And that's what they were taught me to believe. And I feared it. I didn't want to see nobody because I was so afraid this is going to happen. And I was so afraid. I'm telling you, I was so fearful. And I know I have talked to a lot of people, and I've been around people hearing their conversations. They felt the very same way. But we were taught that. And it's a lot of things that we were taught. And we never got the understanding to realize that these things was incorrectly, that was taught to us, that may not be, or my understanding now is not the way that the creator or divine source, our God, wanted us to really understand. Like I said, I truly believe that the Bible is our spirituality side of our creator, who is pointing us to our greater and higher self. And we were taught in the Bible more so about our lower density, our lower state of consciousness, which is our ego. And that is where we were locked in for all our lives, and we were programmed to believe a lot of things about our self-pleasures, the pleasures of other people, the pleasures of the world, and a whole lot of different things. And I don't know why I got on to that. But even though, like I said, we were taught to fear death. And then there's a passage in the Bible, and it's Psalms 23. And I know we were all taught that as a child, but when I used to read Psalms 23, I read it from the level that I was taught within the church. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. See, when I was in church, when I read that, and I read it and I heard it so many times, and I heard it taught so many times, I heard it read out into the audience so many times, I read it so many times myself. And it always, my understanding as I perceived it then, as my understanding that my pastors and teachers and leaders, they had elaborated on that. It was talking about our lower self. And anytime we are in our lower self, yes, that is a fear factor. That is a place of fear. That is a place to have intimidation and anxiety and hopelessness and pain. And that is a place where we don't have the strength and the knowledge that our higher soul consciousness has conquered and overcome. We're still in that defeating state where life, it just controls us, maneuvers us, and it keeps us in a delusional state of living. But now I can read that and I have a better revelation. Psalms 23 of that part of the passage of scripture. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I understand that was actually pointing to our spiritual side of us, the spirituality side of us, our higher and greater self. Though I walk, that means I'm walking, I'm moving higher into my higher level of consciousness state. That I'm moving out of my lower density, my subconscious state of being, my subconscious state of thinking, my ego programming way, a life that I've lived all my life. Though I walk, I'm moving toward my higher self, my higher consciousness state. I will fear no evil now because I'm moving to my higher part of my being. And I'm becoming more and more like my divine creator, because he is in me. My God consciousness state is the kingdom of heaven, which is my crown chakra, as I explained in many videos. That is my higher self, my higher state of mind. That is the highest place that we can get. It's our state, our higher state of consciousness, okay? Our classic way of thinking is based on the belief that the world has an objective, observer, independent existence. But a long list of experiments shows just the opposite. And a whole lot of my experiences that I experienced and within the last year, through the revelations and that the Creator, my divine source, had shown me about death, now it was totally opposite from my teaching from a very young child up to that said a year ago. So we think that life is just the activity of carbon and a mixture of molecules. And we believe a while, all those things, and then we just gonna rot into the ground. Ain't gonna be no more of us, no return. That is the end. That's what people led us to believe. That's what I believe. That's what I was taught. And we think that. And we think that. And we think that life is just the activity of carbon and mixture of molecules, that we live a while and then we just rot, we die, we rot into the ground, and that's the end. That's what people led us to believe. I was led to believe that. But I can say now, that is an illusion. That is an illusion. We believe in death because we've been taught that we die. Also, of course, because we associate ourselves with our body, and we know that our bodies dies. We know that. The end of the story. That was how we were led to believe. That person is dead. That person's gonna die. They ain't coming back. End of the story. The end. But I say now that yes, that was something that, like I said, it caused us to believe that. And we're being in the face of death many times. I mean, no, all of us. We have watched loved ones die. We have seen close friends die. We have been in the face of death many times. Whether it was ourselves when we thought that, oh, well, this is the end of us because we had some horrible sickness, or our body was just out of whack and we thought that it was no return. Or we stood in the face of, like I said, of loved ones and watched them die, or stood in the face of friends and we watched them die. And we believed as we watched those slip into another place, and we didn't understand. We thought it was a place of no return. We were fearful and afraid, and we were hurt, and we were angry a lot of times because we didn't understand. Why did God have to take our friends and our loved ones and our family members? Why are you taking them away? What kind of God would do that? God wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. Now I'm understanding. We don't die. We evolve. And now I can understand what the reincarnation, when the Bible was talking about. The rebirth, being reborn again. We go into another life and we return as another person, another human being, or whatever that he has us return in that form or fashion. I don't understand all that. I can't explain it to you yet. But it's not a place where I have to fear, because I'm not going to be in a place where there is no more of me. I may not come back as destiny, as the same person that I am today, or the person that I may have been 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. I don't know how long I've been on this earth. I don't know how many lives I have lived so far. I don't know how many returns I have returned to this place. But I truly believe I'm not from this planet, from this form, from this land. I am from some state or place in a foreign land, and you go back and see that video, and that explains why I said that. Because I've been here, and I truly know that I've been here. And I'm going to leave that there right now, okay? But let me tell you about biocentralism. And that is a word that you might want to look up. Biocentralism. It's Biocenterism. Now that is a new theory of everything. And it tells us that death may not be the terminal event that we think. And amazingly, if you add life and consciousness to the equation, you can explain some of the biggest puzzles of science. And that is where we missed it. Because we did never add the conscious state of being to the equation. We always was in that lower density, in our subconscious state of mind, our subconscious way of thinking. That is the ego side of part of us. That's the ego way of the life that we knew of, because that was all that we were taught. And that's the life that we lived in basically our entire life. And a lot of us are still living in the subconscious state of mind. But your divine power, your God, your creator, is trying to awaken you, to move you away from that lower density, because that's the side of us. That's where the fear factor is. That's where the place where you will remain under the control of other people. That's the place that you live in your pleasures, and you do all those things that will keep you from moving to your higher and greater self. That is the place that we have to understand. We have to understand that we have to reach our higher conscious state of being. And we have to put that into equation, and we miss that. So, if we get to understand that, like I said, some of the biggest puzzles of science will be explained to us and understood. For instance, it becomes clear what space and time. It becomes clear why space and time, even the properties of matter itself, depend on the observer. It also becomes clear why the laws, forces, and constants of the universe appear to be exquisitely fine-tuned for the existence of life. And I say this with all my heart, because I truly believe this. Until we recognize the universe in our heads, attempts to understand reality will remain a road to nowhere. If we don't ever get in tune, grounded, and connected to the universe, to nature, to our greater and higher source power, God, our creator, until we reach that place, we will always remain in that lower state of thinking. And our attempts to understand anything about who we are, our purpose, our greater and higher self, our God, our creator, the universe, the power, the source of the universe, our connection as being one with the universe, we would never understand that. We would never understand. We're always going to remain in a road that's leading us to nowhere. And that's the place I'm seriously. A lot of people yet has not been awakened. And a lot of people has not yet come to that knowledge and understanding. But we all are connected to the universe. And as I said before, we all are one. We are all one. The earth will never die. The earth will never die. And so will you. You will never die, but you got to connect yourself with the universe so you can go on living forever, okay? Now, consider this, and I'm going to use a scenario here. Consider the weather outside. You see this big, beautiful blue sky. But the cells in your brains could be changed so that the sky looks green or red or any other color. In fact, with a little genetic engineering, we could probably make everything that is red vibrate or make a noise or even make you want to have intimacy as it does with some birds. We can change our reality by the way we think, by the way we see things. And with the changing of what we see, the blue sky, and our minds is being engineered to say, okay, it could possibly be green or red or blue or orange or whatever colors. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. And we could say that's an illusion. You think it's bright outside, but your brain circuits could be changed so it looks like it's dark out. That's an illusion. You think it feels hot and humid, but to a tropical frog, it would feel cool and dry. That's an illusion. This logic applies to virtually everything. Bottom line is this: what you see could not be present without your consciousness. You have to be consciousness fully awakened and aware of your divine creative power within you. Everything that you need in life to appear at its greater and higher level of consciousness is within you. So you have to go inside and you have to see it. In order for the inside to be brought out to the outside, first it must start with the inside, and you got to see everything that the Creator put within you. So in truth, you can't see anything through the bone that surrounds your brain. And if you can, put in the comment box, Jay, Destiny, I see mine. I see my brain. So, your eyes are not portals to the world. And we all taught that our eyes are part of us and our first being part of us. But our third eye was there before we had our two eyes that's in front of us today. Right there in the center was our third eye. That was our all-seeing eye. That was all that we could see. And that was all that we could see, and we saw perfectly. And we saw everything until the world and the ego got its hand on us, and it opened up these two eyes right here in front of us. And then we began to see delusions, illusions, and all other things. We begin to see life in a way that the Creator didn't even create us to be. Your eyes are not portals to the world, and I want you to understand that. Everything you see and experience right now, even your body, is a whirl of information and is all occurring in your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like I said, the Bible was there to point us to our higher and greater conscious state of being. We were taught that it was leading us into our Christian faith and beliefs and our walk with the Son of the universe, Jesus. It was and Jesus in his teachings, he was trying to show you figures, numbers, geometric numbers, and life that points to our greater and higher consciousness self. It took people to take everything out of context. It took teachers and to whoever that taught us to take that Bible and turn it upside down and give you a whole different understanding. That was the part of the matrix, the part of the world system. That was the dumbed downing of everything. That is the reason why all this information came through the Bible in the way that it did to us, to keep us away from knowing that we were super beings. We were super beings like our almighty, powerful creator and source. And you know, I'm getting off on some things that I wasn't on my notes, so it's okay. I just hope you get a revelation and knowledge of what I'm really saying. So let's get back. According to biocentralism, and I spelled that word out, biocentralism, space and time aren't the hard and cold objects that we think. So let's do an example. Wave your hand through the air. Put your hands up and wave your hands, both your hands through the air. Just wave them. And if you take everything away from under those hands and from above your hands, if you remove your whole entire body, then what's there left? What's left? Nothing. And your hands won't be left because your hands going to go down with your body. Your hands going to move. If your body, if you lose everything from your chest up and everything from your shoulders all the way down and your hands up there waving, it's coming down too. So nothing is left. The same thing applies for time. Space and time are simply the tools for putting everything together. And the Bible says death and life are in the power of the tongue. And I'm here to tell you out there, we create our realities and we frame our world with our thoughts, with our beliefs, with the level of faith that we're operating in. And it's all an illusion. So let's move a little further. Consider the famous two-slit experiment. And I'm going to give you some examples from several scientists in their studies. When scientists watch a particle pass through two slits in a barrel, the particle behaves like a bullet and it goes through one slit or the other. But if you don't watch, And like I said, you got to have your eyes open. If you don't watch, it acts like a wave and it can go through both slits at the same time. So how can a particle change its behavior depending on whether you watch it or not? Are you seeing? Are you watching? You got to have that third eye open, because the other two eyes is it's illusion. Those two eyes sitting in front of you that you're looking back at you, they are your delusional state of mind. You have to have that third eye open. So, how can a particle change its behavior depending on whether you watch it or not? And the answer is simple. Reality is a process that involves your consciousness. And I'm going to expound a little deeper on this and give you a few examples. And then I will pick this up in the next video series too. But I'm going to show you a couple examples today. So consider, this is a scientist called, his name is Heisenberg. He has a famous uncertainty principle on this, what I was just talking about, the particles that are passing through the two slits. And if there is a reality, like I said, this is his state of saying. Let me get that clear. If there is a world out there with particles just bouncing around, then we should be able to measure all their properties. But you can't. For instance, particles exist, particles that is in the exact location, and the momentum cannot be known at the same time. So why should it matter to a particle whether you decide to measure it? And how can pairs of entangled particles be instantaneously connected on opposite sides of the galaxy as if space and time don't exist? Again, I'm telling you, the answer is very simple, because they're not just out there. Space and time are simply tools of our mind. There's nothing out there exists. Everything exists, I keep telling you, is within you. So as a man think in his heart, so he becomes. So as a man think in his heart, so he becomes. So if you think death, you die. So if you think life, you live. Death doesn't exist in a timeless space or a spaceless world. Immortality doesn't mean a perpetual existence in time, but it resides outside of time altogether. You got to get this, because like I said so many times, you hear so many people talk about this. We are infinite, immortal beings having a human experience on this planet. So our linear way of thinking about time is also inconsistent with another series of recent experiments. And we're going to get further into this on our next study and our next video, because we got to get this. We are infinite, immortal beings living on this planet, having a human experience, and we evolve. We transcend. When we die, we go to another place. We transcend to other places, to other parts of the universe. And I believe there is more universals in this world than we are taught. There was one universe. I believe there are several billions of planets out there. It's hard to say where we come from, but I know I'm not from this planet here on this earth, because he has revealed that to me so much, to a way that I really resonate with that. And yet I have not understand yet, or he has not revealed yet where I've come from, but I know I'm not afraid of death, and neither should you, because we never die and we will return to this planet. We will return somewhere in some planet or some universe or some whatever that he has. We will return as another human being, as another life, as another form, whatever it is. We don't have to fear death. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for my divine power, my greater source, my God, will forever be with me, because the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven will always be in me. When I'm dying in a state of mind that knowing that I am dying to live, I will live forever. On that further note, namaste. I'll be back later at another date and time for part 2 of this video. Thank you for sharing this with me. I hope you could get a revelation knowledge. Comment on the comment box. Give me some ideas and opinions and things that you believe. Share your thoughts. Share your experiences. Please share that with me. And I will see you in the next video. Love you. Namaste. This is Destiny. I'm out of here. It's a beautiful Sunday. And it is September 22nd, 2019. I will talk to you later. Go back to yesterday and review the preview on this study, the introduction that's leading to this study. I believe death is illusion. I love you. Namaste. Have a great day.